My name is Jessie Ace. I'm part of a group of ENabled Warriors that you've probably never heard of. We're fighting back against our invisible illness and taking the dis out of disability. We don't give sympathy to our symptoms. They enable us to be the warrior that we are. If you ask doctors and nurses, they'd say what we're doing is impossible. But pushing the limits of our conditions is something that we have to break through every single day. So we push the limits. We are mentally strong, and we can do anything. The question is, how far can we push those limits? This podcast will give you the answers. I'm Jessie Ace, and this is the Disabled to Enabled podcast. Enabled Warriors, welcome back to part 2 of our interview with today's guest. We've just spoken about their diagnosis. If you missed it, make sure to go back and have a listen. In this section, we'll have a chat about the amazing things that today's guest has done since their diagnosis. So hey, and welcome back. So tell us about the Unchargeables movement that you created. Like, this is what first kind of led me to you, because I came across you on Instagram and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So tell us about that.
Okay, I'm so happy you found us on Instagram. Okay, so it started on Facebook actually. And it probably started in a way completely different than what everybody thinks.
Okay.
So when I have a shop attached to this community. So when I run sales, people are like, you're selling things, you're bad. I'm kind of like, without the sales, this whole community would have never existed. Because what happened was, I couldn't hold down a normal job because I cannot go to the office every day that they want me to be there. So I always worked at places for like half a year, maybe a year and a half. I've never had a job longer than that because they always fire me because they think I'm not interested or I'm having like a meltdown or whatever. And they're like, you just don't like working here because you don't show up in the office often enough. So I was looking for an alternate way of making money. And I came around to online sales. So I started studying marketing online with courses and everything. And first I sold information about creating communities because I'm very good at networking. And then I moved from Holland, which had a cold climate, to the Canary Islands, which has a really nice and warm climate. But the internet here is not the best. So I kind of had to change my strategy from having conference calls, because maybe I don't have internet at 11 a.m. when I've got a call planned, and I'm charging people for my information. So I didn't want to continue that way. So I needed to sell something physical. I'm like, well, selling t-shirts online, this was like 2014, 15. Selling t-shirts online, it's becoming big. I'll try that. I can do marketing. I can sell anything. And I couldn't get it off the ground. I was trying to sell, didn't sell any. Cat t-shirts, dog t-shirts, mom t-shirts. So I had this acquaintance that did online marketing. And he asked me, well, how's the t-shirt selling business going? Like, it's not. I don't know why I cannot sell a thing. And he's asking me, what do you know a lot about? What's your expertise? I'm like, being sick? I don't know. He's like, so make t-shirts about being sick. I'm like, who is gonna wear a t-shirt that says, hi, I'm sick? Are you nuts? He's like, no, just think about it. Is there like words that people are using? I'm like, well, we use the word spoonie, and we say we are warriors. Like, those are things. He's like, okay, I'll help you make a design. Tell me something you would say. I'm like, well, I'm a Fibro warrior. It's not for the weak. That's something we would say. So he made this design with Rosie the Riveter, because he's a designer. And he's like, well, try this. Okay. I put it on. I made a new page. I put it on. I advertised it, and it completely exploded.
Nice.
I'm like, what is this? So I go into this post, but I see in the comments that people are not talking about the t-shirt. They're talking about their condition. and they're talking about how they're feeling. So I'm starting to respond to these people because, you know, I feel the same. And I did not know there were so many people out there. I'd never been in support groups. I've never known anyone else with fibromyalgia. I'm like, this was a whole new world for me. It probably already existed, but I just didn't know.
Yeah.
So I kind of stumbled into it that way. And I was like responding to people, supporting them, but it was helping me too. And within 3 months, I had 19,000 people on this page.
Wow.
And I was burning out. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to support 20,000 people by myself. This is not possible. Like I didn't focus on t-shirts anymore. I still sold them because I'm supposed to pay my rent and eat. But that was not the main objective. That was just with the first day and the first t-shirts until I found the support. So that's kind of like how it slowly became a big community of volunteers that are all supporting each other. And I kind of just run the different volunteer teams. So we added support groups and we added the Instagram. We tried Pinterest and Twitter for a while, but I've kind of let that go because it's all too much. We have a website with articles on it about how we feel, because sometimes I just need to write it and put it out there. And now we mainly post articles that other people wrote.
Awesome.
So yeah, it kind of evolved from selling a t-shirt.
I love that though. I love it. So I was going to ask you, like, do you design all the products in your shop yourself because it's awesome? Or do you still have a designer?
I still have a designer.
Nice.
It's in the years I've learned how to use Photoshop. In the beginning, I didn't know anything. I couldn't do video editing. I couldn't do all these photo editing. I really had to learn all of those things. Well, I design some things like text-based shirts I will make myself, but the things with images and the things with nice banners on them or with gradient colors, which I last week learned how to do that. So maybe I'm going to do that myself, and like the text that kind of wobbles. And those I have a designer for. Well, I had a couple different ones because they're freelance. I just pay per design, but I do have a very clear image in mind. So I will send maybe a couple of memes with the text, and then I will sketch with my horrible artistic skills. I'll sketch something out. And like for the Chargimals, which are the physical and mental health monsters, for that I'm working with an illustrator. He's amazing, so talented.
That's so cool. And those little monsters are the cutest things ever and so relatable. I love it. And you have this thing where you want to turn them into plush toys. Tell us about that.
So the Chargimals came to be about 3 years ago when in our support group, the thing that was really big at the time was this new game, Pokemon Go. So in our support group, a lot of people were playing that, and somebody said, oh, we should have little monsters for our conditions. And I'm like, little monster? Okay. So the first one that came is the fibromyalgia one, because that's my main diagnosis. So I'm like, okay, let's make a fibromyalgia little monster and see what we're going to do with that. In the beginning, it didn't have a backstory or anything. They were just a little monster with a little piece of text. They had their name, and they represented a specific disease. And I did it like that for a couple of years, but people just didn't know they were there. They didn't really understand. And I'm like, okay, I need to work on the stories. So about a little over a year ago, I teamed up with a writer who's also like a follower, a community member of the Unchargeables. And she's like, well, I've always wanted to write fictional stories. And I'm like, well, okay, let's try and do this together and combine fictional stories, but with realistic things happening to these little monsters in their alternate universe. To kind of open up the conversation about chronic illness. And now we've also included mental health and other conditions, basically anything long-term physical or mental. And now we've included everything, and we just want to make the conversation like more normal and easier, because it's easier to talk about a little monster than to talk about yourself or others.
Yeah, because it kind of distances you from the actual condition, doesn't it, as well?
Yes, and it embodies the thing that I do not really like. I did this in the beginning, but I have learned how words have a big impact.
Oh,
So
talk about
I
that
don't say, I sometimes I still say I have fibromyalgia. No, I don't have it. It's not
Mm,
something that I have. I live with a condition. So
mm.
I live with fibromyalgia. And so our fibromyalgia monster, she's called Gia, from Fibromyalgia, very original. And so she is an embodiment of fibromyalgia. She lives with fibromyalgia. So it's not something in me. It's this little monster that I can kind of, what's the word, that I can kind of see myself in, but I don't have it.
Mm. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's really good. Let's just take a short break to thank our sponsors. If you have a chronic illness, you'll know that symptoms can be so annoying. Whether you're trying to figure out what symptom is for what condition or trying to figure out what is triggering your symptoms, the ENabled Warrior Symptom Tracker can help. It's a book that I've developed alongside doctors and other patients, or as I like to say, warriors, to make it as easy as possible for you to track your symptoms, and it's easy for doctors to glance at and give you the best care possible. Take a look at the show notes right now to see where you can get yours. Now let's get back to chatting with our guest. Because I did something a little bit similar. So I actually illustrated the symptoms instead of my condition.
Yes.
I don't really know how that kind of came about, but I think it's just because I was illustrating a lot about like myself and how things kind of were in the MS world and stuff. And I was kind of like, do you know, it'd be really great to have like a physical representation of just how annoying this little character thing is, this little symptom is. So yeah, I created these little weird character things, and it did feel kind of freeing. It was really awesome.
We also have some general symptoms. So there's one for fatigue and there's one for misdiagnosis. We want to work on one undiagnosed one, because there's a lot of people that have symptoms and they know they have something. They live with something. See?
Photos thing.
We also have one for multiple sclerosis as well. His name is Donnie and he walks with a cane.
See, even when you mention that, you're kind of like, oh, that sounds really cute. And like, yeah.
They live in my mind. So when I have conversations with the writer and the illustrator, we see them walking around. Like, we live in Chargimals in our mind. My daughter as well, she loves it. And when we talk to other people, we need to keep in mind that they cannot see them walking around. They don't know what Chargimals looks like. We have everything illustrated. So with every story, you get like a map of Chargimals, so you can understand where they're going and what they're doing.
I really like that. And that's going to help kids really kind of understand what's going on with maybe their parents or their sister or something as well.
I have really noticed that since giving the Chargimals their own social media, that I have a lot of teenagers between like 12 and 17. I attract way more of that age group, which I think is amazing, because those are the ones that need to grow up and teach others that, you know, this is nothing weird. Like, for example, now I'm working on designs to put on shirts about wheelchair users. And, you know, kind of like, you can talk to me. I'm a normal person. This chair is just how I get around. It's not who I am.
Love that. That's really good. Because so many people treat people in wheelchairs so differently, don't they? And it's like, oh, it's so frustrating.
And I don't use a wheelchair myself. So it has been requested. And even for me, when I'm in the community and, you know, I see a person in a wheelchair, so I will speak to them. But still, for me, it's a little bit difficult to think about, okay, what would I put on a shirt if I'm in a wheelchair? Because I don't have the experiences of how people treat me, because I don't use a wheelchair. So I will talk to people in the community and ask them their experiences, which I've been doing for the past 2 days. And they gave me great insights. I'm like, okay, I get it completely. Now I have like 12 ideas for a whole wheelchair and cane line. So I enjoy listening to the community.
That's amazing. So, okay, my next question is, how do you actually manage everything? Because I know for a fact how difficult that is to run like a print on demand store and multiple Instagram accounts and social media accounts in general. And it gets super, super busy. How do you manage your energy and your symptoms?
It has been a process. Like I said in the beginning, I just had that one Facebook page and I was burning out. So I started, no, people offered, because I made a post on the page saying, I'm sorry, I'm burning out. I need a week off. I'm not going to go posting anything. And then people responded with, we will volunteer. We want to be your admins. I'm like, but it's my page and I'm selling t-shirts. Like, I'm offering support, but I'm actually making money doing this. Like, why would you volunteer? And they're like, no, because we love the community and it helps me to help others. Like I felt, and by that time I didn't make anything on the t-shirts, maybe like €30 a month, like nothing. It was never about the money. Still, it isn't. If I wouldn't have to pay rent, I would do everything for free. But that's not the world we live in. So I have volunteer teams helping on social media. So I have set it up now to where every page, every group, and every account, because now I've added the Chargimals too. There's probably about 10 volunteer teams. And then I will, so yeah, everything is run by the volunteers in teams. And as far as the shop goes, it's print on demand. So that means that I have nothing in my house. I don't ship it out myself. I do have to do customer service. And for that, I have my amazing right hand, Tracy. She takes care of questions on Facebook, emails coming in. She's talking to the vendors and the printers to make sure that if something is misprinted or whatever, they got the wrong size or whatever, she fixes all of that. So, you know, that all helps. And in regards with my symptoms, my daughter, she's now 9. So she has grown up. I started this when she was 2. She has now grown up knowing that mommy's working, even though I'm in the same room. And I'm very good at giving advice, like that I have to stop and listen to your body. I'm not so very good at taking my own advice, but I do really try that. I put a list with like 3 things I really need to do. And then even though I want to do more, I stop and I take a break. And then when I have more time, I can go sit back down and do more. So that's how I try. And my house is a mess. Like I literally took the mess from down here and I put it in that room.
To be fair, it doesn't quite matter at the minute because no one's coming over.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, it's not bad.
I don't care. That's just the way it is. We have a robot vacuum.
They're awesome. They are awesome things. They're really good.
Yes, that helps a lot.
So one question as well is, how do you manage returns? Where do returns go?
Returns go to Tracy.
Oh,
she lives in the United States, and like 80% of the customers are in the United States. And first I said, well, send it back to me. This was the first thing, right? And they're like, I bought a $25 t-shirt and it's costing me $100 to return it. I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. Let's not do that.
Wow.
So to get sent to her. Not right now, because, you know, with the crisis, I don't want people going to the post office.
No, that's crazy. So are people still ordering and everything's still okay right now?
People are ordering more. They are at home.
Nice.
But it's still, I wish it was my full-time income, but it's not. It's, you know, people who have health issues, most of them don't have their own income. So they need to ask other people for money or to have to ask them to buy it as a gift. So yeah, I'm still happy that they like it and they ask it as birthday gifts and stuff.
That's good. And that's one thing that I really want to change is how It's kind of teaching people with chronic illnesses who may be not able to go out to a work and sit in an office all day. I do not see the point of that anyway, but still, I want to teach them how they can start their own businesses and make it so that they can run it that's in a way that's chronically ill friendly.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
it is possible. It is possible.
It is possible.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
That is amazing advice. Thank you so much for sharing such amazing advice with us. ENabled Warriors, please join us again in part 3 to catch the final bit of our interview with today's guest. Super quick secrets round coming up. Remember, if you've been affected by any of the issues raised in this episode, then please leave a comment and let us know what it is. And subscribe wherever you're listening so you never miss out on great stories. And remember, Warriors, stay enabled. Warriors listening, if you've enjoyed this episode and you want to win $100, leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tell us what you liked best. We'll choose one review at random each month to win $100, and after you've left your review, remember, go and click that subscribe button. Are you ready to fight back against your chronic illness and go from being disabled to enabled? Do you want to be an enabled warrior, someone who's brave, strong, and confident, and someone who's ready to find a way to achieve awesome things despite a diagnosis? This is your invitation. Check out disabled2enabled.com for articles and reviews to find out how you can become enabled too. Subscribe to the podcast to always be in the know. If you think this podcast is better than sleeping in on a Sunday, tickle that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And make sure to share this episode with someone who needs some inspiration. Want to ask your questions to future guests? Make sure to join our ENabled Warriors tribe on Facebook and look out for our question posts. Before we go, check out Disabled2Enabled on Instagram for posts that tell it like it is. And remember, Warriors, stay enabled.